Hi everyone, this is Gavin from Gavin's Gadgets. Hope you're keeping well. Today I'm going to review the Honor 8 Pro. And this is a really nice looking handset. This is the blue colour. One of the features of the Honor device is the really fast, literally it's instant unlocking from the fingerprint sensor. The key features with this particular phone over the Honor 8 is it's got the new Kirin, well, it's got the Kirin 960 chipset, which is really fast, works very well on this. It's on a Huawei's own chipset. It's in a very thin body, as you can see. It's really nice and thin. With the cameras, the two 12 megapixel cameras are flush with the body. It's a 4000 milliamp battery. You've got a 12 megapixel monochrome sensor, and the RGB, which is the color part, is also 12 megapixels. It's a 5.7 Quad HD display. It's EMUI 5.1 with Android 7. So you've got all the features of Android 7. The Gorilla Glass 3 on the top and 8 megapixel camera on the front. I've got a whole camera showcase going through the video and the photos a bit later on with some commentary on the cameras. And this weighs about 184. It's also got the infrared blaster for controlling the TVs and whatnot. NFC, which is quite handy. Type-C at the bottom, but I'll do a close-up of that. And this does a 9-volt 2-amp charge system as well. And in the right place is the headphone jack, 3.5mm, which is quite novel. So, first impressions, this phone looks good, and it does have a really lovely screen. So before I give you some sort of full verdicts, I'm going to do a close-up of the actual phone itself, going through all the bits and pieces. So let's take a closer look at the phone. So taking a closer look at this phone, you've got on the bottom here, as I said before, 3.5mm headphone jack. You've got microphone, you've got loudspeaker. USB Type-C has a sort of semi-fast charge system. You've got the IR blaster on top and another microphone. On the back you've got the fingerprint sensor, the flash, and your two 12 megapixel cameras. I like the fact that they're embedded, they're flat with the actual screen. Turning this on, you can see you've got various options. So you've got all the Google apps here, no problem there at all. You've also got here, you've got the phone manager, you can do theming, you've got the videos, the Huawei's High Game, you've got a health app, so it can do track your steps. Calendar's got notepad, High Care. You've got a files, clock, weather. You can see all the various torch, compass. Smart controller, that's for the infrared blast, so you need that and it works very well. And it's got a few other, a bit closer, a few other options as well. They do have these games that are pre-installed, or so I say apps and games, and they can be uninstalled. So if you don't want any of these, I would just uninstall them. And you've got the Vmail. I've added these few other things down here to do some testing. This is very, very fast storage. It's showing UFS 2.1 in my testing. But if you go into the settings, and you can see you've got dual SIM. I have to take SIM out so I don't get notifications. But you can see here it says SIM 1 you can do 2G, 3G or 4G. And on SIM 2 it only goes up to either 2G or 3G. And you can't have both SIMs going at the same time. But it does have some options there. Right, so you've got your usual mobile data options, and you can actually set the usage you want so you don't go over the limits. You've also got under more tethering, NFC. This does have NFC, so you can do Android Pay. Your home screen style, I don't use the app drawer, but you can just turn it on there, no problem at all. On the display, you can change the display. It has, because it's running Android 7, I'm using on the app on the sort of display scaling. I've got the small size because it looks nicer and it doesn't waste a lot of space, but you can make it bigger or smaller. You can change the font sizes, and you've got eye comfort mode, which does the blue filtering, which is really quite handy. It tells you how that works, and various other bits and pieces there. You can adjust the color temperature as well. On the notification bar, you can change a few bits and pieces there, and that's quite handy. I mean, this really has absolutely everything you need. On the bottom, the navigation keys, I have the bottom option, but you can configure how you want these keys. And obviously, if you have a bigger on the sort of display scaling. When you have it sort of large, these spread right across the bar and a bit higher up as well. You've got the fingerprint ID, so you've got that as well, and you can use that to do a few bits and pieces. And if I do that, just bear with me 1 second, I've just got to put my actual pin code in because it won't do it on the fingerprint. To show those options, back we go. So you can unlock the screen, access the safe option, access app lock, and you've got those few options there, which is quite handy. And you can see a few of the other ones there as well. Screen lock and password, security and privacy, got a whole options there. And all in all, it's quite a nice little thing. You do have a whole thing on advanced settings where you can go into simple mode as well, for those that don't like this particular option. You've also got on the battery side of things, you can do a power saving, ultra power saving, and you've also got a low resolution power saving where it lowers the screen resolution that's required to help save power. That is quite handy as well. And all in all, this is what it looks like. But one thing I know you're very keen to have a look at is the actual, what do we call it, the camera. So let's go and head over to the camera and go into the camera here. There's a lot of options on the camera. Bring that a bit closer. So you can do filters. So you've got a whole range of filters here that you can have, which is quite handy for taking your shots. Let's come out of that. You can do beautification. You've got wide aperture mode, flash, and you've got video as well. But if you swipe across, you can see you've got pro mode, video, pro video, monochrome HDR, 3D creator, night shot, panorama, light painting, time lapse, slow mo, which is really good. And if you go the other way, you can alter the resolution. This is 12 megapixel. You have the grid, mute, timer. You can add watermarks, and you've got a whole host of other different options here, which is really quite handy. And sometimes when you're in some of the different modes, it does actually, so if you go into pro mode, for example, you'll see that you've got manual focus, shutter speed, and the shutter speed, just for your interest, that's ISO. Let's go shutter speed, goes all the way to 30 seconds, and on the ISO you can go all the way to 3200 as well. But when you go into the pro mode and you go into settings, you'll see that there's an option for RAW format, and you've got a few other options as well. So all in all, that's pretty good. And I'm now going to show you a camera showcase to go through some of the actual photos that you can do. One thing that is quite handy, and I'll show you before we go into some of the photos and videos that I've taken, we'll go into the gallery and we shall find a wide aperture mode. There's still one setting here. So yes, let's take this shot here. So this was taken in wide aperture mode, and if I tap on the screen, where are we? There we go. You can now change the focus point, and here you've got the scale. Hang on, I'll be on the screen. Here you've got the scale for the f-stop, so it can go all the way down to f0.95 and all the way up to f-stop 616. So f-stop 16, everything's in focus, and it's all the way down to 1.4, only the area you touch, and you can literally, you know, pinpoint and save different areas to be in focus. That's really neat. Anyway, enough of that. Let's go and check out the camera showcase. Okay, so now we're going to try at 1080p just to really see how much better the stabilization is, and focusing. Perhaps we'll go up close to something on the wall. It's slightly better actually. And come round and walk down. Again, I'm holding one hand. I'm not the steadiest of people, as you'll probably gather, but there we have it. That's 1080p. Right, so now 1080p with electronic stabilization on. Trying to see what the difference is. Again, holding my hand into the sun. Just a quick little clip at 1080p with stabilization on. So this is the front facing camera I thought walk backwards for a change. It's maximum resolution on the front facing camera. It should be 1080p, just to give you some idea. Okay, so this is 1080p video on the front camera, but this time I've put beauty mode on and I've got it at the highest setting so you can get an idea as to what I look like. Okay, so hopefully you enjoyed that camera showcase, and you can see that it's got a very decent camera. Overall, as a package, this phone works really well with its decent amount of storage. So it has a setup where you can put a SIM card in with a micro SD card for expanding the storage. 6 gig of RAM, 64 gig this one has of onboard storage. The speaker side of things, so we have a listen to the speaker. I'll put something on YouTube here. Let's have a quick listen. It's a bit distorted at full volume, and it's a bit tinny. It goes loud. It's not my favourite, but it still goes loud, which is what you want at the end of the day. And for podcasts and whatnot, it works very well. But it is a mono speaker. You do have a 3.5mm headphone jack. When you're listening to music, you have the option of the DTS EQ, which artificially enhances the music. It's a bit bassy, but that's what a lot of people like. So from a consumer level, it's good. I've plugged in a few headphones like the some Sennheiser Momentum in ears, sounding okay, average plus. It's not audio grade quality, but it's still pretty good and better than most. It also has Bluetooth, and that works really well. You know, the Quad HD display is fantastic. I like how the power saving modes work. It has a phenomenal screen on time. I'm getting 5-6 hours screen on time, but then it does have a 4000 milliamp battery. And overall, this is a really nice phone. So how does it compare camera wise with something like the Huawei Mate 9 or the Huawei P10 Plus? The P10 Plus and the Huawei Mate 9 have the better camera system. They have a 20 megapixel monochrome sensor, and therefore they actually are can take better shots. And the P10 Plus in particular is slightly better in the low light, but the differences are minimal, and as you've just seen from the photo gallery, pretty awesome, to be honest. So really, it's just a fantastic piece of kit. I really like this for what it costs, what it can do, and all the features you've seen me go through. I give this a thumbs up and a good recommendation. And this is Gavin from Gavin's Gadgets. Come back soon. I've got something really exciting, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye for now.